what do we do? And catch that term, in the meantime, because indeed these are mean times. But when there are mean times, there's an opportunity, a glimmer, a hope that love can penetrate that darkness. And that indeed, that single small candle, like the minister held up, can bring light into the darkest of nights. And so we have a wonderful opportunity to do great things with just small, simple, faithful acts. We can turn the rule of law into the rule of love and acceptance and of welcome. You don't need a president. You don't need a governor. You don't need to extract the Senate Majority Leader of Georgia to perform acts of love and acceptance and of welcome. Let us not lose sight that while policies need to change on high, that the most effective change and social movements will be that as we change those policies on high, our feet stay rooted and entrenched in the base communities. That our feet and our relationships are entrenched in our relationships of love and acceptance and of welcome of immigrants, especially those who are marginalized and undocumentable. Ask ourselves the question, when we started this journey, how much of it was because our life was engulfed in loving and accepting and welcoming relationships with undocumentable immigrants? And ask yourself now, how much of your life and your time and your relationship is still encircled by those relationships with those very same people? Versus how much of it is being enthralled and attracted to the lure of political power and of relevance. We need to stay rooted in our relationships so that one day the Georgia Immigrant Conference or Georgia Immigration Conference will still require interpreters, but it'll be because the people up here are speaking Spanish. And those of us who don't speak Spanish are the ones needing interpretation. Or other languages.
I need you to do 3 things. First and foremost is speak up. Say speak up.
Speak up.
Okay, I'll have to say it louder than that. So speak up.
Speak up.
I know we're in a Unitarian Universalist church, but y'all can pretend to be Baptist for a second. We at the Capitol fought for 6 months about HB 87, and then we stopped. It passed and we moved on. You can't let us move on. You have to speak up every single day. We should be deluged with emails and phone calls and visits telling us that what we have done is wrong and we need to fix it. Because when there is silence, there is an action, and when there is an action, there is discrimination. So we need you to speak up. And not only speak up about the general issue, but speak up about your specific experiences. Or if not yours, the experiences that you hear about. But we need to hear those stories because it's easy to forget what we've done. We pass hundreds of laws every year. And every year we pass a law and then we move on. We have to be willing. We must be held accountable, and you have to speak up and tell us what we've done. So say it with me again. Say speak up.
Speak up.
The second thing you have to do is show up. It is not enough just to tell us. We have to have you down at that Capitol. And if you can't come down to Atlanta, or up to Atlanta, I'm used to being up there. If you can't come up to Atlanta, then go to where your legislator lives. Go to where your city council person is. Go find your mayor and tell them that they need to show up and say that this is bad. Because they have the same responsibilities. They have to now process every time someone brings in a business license, they've got to prove that that person is a citizen. They've got to comply with all of these laws, which is costing you money. Every day that a bureaucrat has to spend trying to comply with these laws, it's money that's being not spent on things we actually need. So it's not just about the legislature, it's about showing up wherever you have a local government official and telling them that they need to demand better of their General Assembly. You have to say it. You have to show up. Say it with me. Say show up.
Show up.
You have to show up at the Capitol. You have to show up at City Hall. You have to show up at the school board.
Yes.
Because if you think that this is just going to be left to the conversations we're having there, think again. Look at what happened in New Mexico. Look at what happened in Arizona. This starts on the local level. It starts at the smallest levels of government. So you have to show up anywhere there's an opportunity to discriminate against the undocumented, and you have to speak up for them and show up for them. So first you're going to do what?
Speak up.
And then you're going to
Show up.
And the third thing I need you to do is stand up. Say stand up.
Stand up.
Thank you.
Everybody up.
Thank you. Stand up. And when I mean stand up, I mean a few things. Number one, stand up to folks like me. When we don't do what you ask, run against us, vote against us, get us out of office. We will not be different until you make us different. And if you won't make us different, you need to make us gone. One day I'm going to say this, and somebody's going to run against me, I'm going to have my feelings hurt, but I mean it. Do that because in the legislature, we have the power to put our fears into law. If that's what people do, then figure out what they're afraid of. One of my dearest friends in the General Assembly, he's passed away now, was Bobby Franklin. Bobby was from East Cobb County, and he once said that I was so far to the left and he was so far to the right, we met on the other side. I believe that we both believe in the same Bible, but mine was missing some pages because he was angry with people I had never figured out why he was mad at. But I talked to him, and I found out, what is it that drives you? We spend too much of our time trying to fight without figuring out what we're fighting about, and thus what we should be fighting for or with. But taking a moment to sort of demystify the argument, figure out why they care about the distinction, and then talk to them about the piece that they have identified as their fear, because often they haven't thought about it either. But that, number one, removes you from being the face of what they think is evil, and turns you into the voice of what can sound like reason.
We all have ideas, and I think everybody in here has really good plans and good strategies and ways that we can use our strengths, both individually and collectively, and see what we can come up with as next steps moving forward. ¿Cuáles son los próximos pasos para llevarnos adelante? ¿Y qué ideas tenemos para llegar a las metas que queremos? You know, what goals do we have as a collective? Right?
As a collective goal?
I think just in general, what goals we have.
Passing of a comprehensive immigration reform bill at the national level. We can work on the state levels all the time and get some things done there, but where the rubber hits the road is at the national level. Congress has to pass a comprehensive immigration reform bill, not a Marco Rubio piecemeal piece of work that's going to cause more problems and more confusion, and give them some credit for passing something. We have to be active, we have to organize, and we have to speak up, show up, and stand up. And what was been alluded to many times during the day is that the reason we're where we are is because of fear. There is a fear factor that's prominent throughout the U.S., and that's why immigration is so slow in getting moved. But when we overcome that fear factor and we understand there is going to be change, then what is it that we have to do? The number one thing is we have to organize, because this is the year that immigration reform will occur. What that immigration reform looks like is up to us. There will be a bill, convinced there will be a bill in Washington that passes. Now what are we going to do to make sure it is what we want it to be?
What are you going to commit to?
I have three things that I want to mention. One is, I think we should develop a Block the Roadblock campaign. And I think it could be out of this group. I think it's great to commit individually, but I think we have a collective power here, and I want to see this collective power from today continue and grow. So I think a Block the Roadblock campaign that would be, there would be some decisions made about key places to show up. I think civil disobedience would not necessarily be a tactic to dismiss as a possibility. And so that's one thing. The second thing is, I think clearly, again, out of this group, I think we need to do whatever we can do to help dismantle HB 87. And I think that the way we need to do that, see, I wasn't even aware that there were these sort of nicks and whatever happening. I think now out of this meeting we have a better communication network which I really urge the organizers to fully, carpe that diem and use it so that we can continue as a group. And the third thing I want to say, and this I will commit to because I'm already doing it, I think that artists and musicians and poets and writers, we need to raise our voices on this subject. We need to create a culture of protest and a culture in support of immigration rights. So we have our Pathway to Citizenship musical group we organized at lunch. Anyway, that's my idea.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We work with the Georgia Undocumented Youth Alliance, and I think like one thing that you can do within your community is like if you ever see a roadblock, it would be a good idea to have like a phone line or a mass text that you can send out to alert your community. And then also you can do that online using Facebook or Twitter account. And another thing that we try to push are in cases, which are education not deportation cases, which is somebody who's a low priority who's arrested in a 287G county. That means they have ties with ICE. So if you're arrested in Henry County, Gwinnett County, Cobb County, or Whitfield County, they will, if you are not low priority, if you're not DACA eligible, they will send you to an ICE detention center, which is Urban Detention Center, Student Detention Center, and we have a North Georgia Detention Center. So whenever you like see those petitions online, it's like a really easy thing to just sign them and make the phone call. So that's like how you